All right, folks, it is a best of 5. It's the grand finals for season 2 of the BTSL. Thank you for joining us. In the top right, he is playing currently for Dead Pixels, the blue Protoss player, Patience.
In the bottom left is the red Terran. He is GuMiho.
And the Stream Heroes thing on the out-of-game overlay did break, but I would like to give a quick nod to Terminator and Prognosticator. And I don't know if he's tuning in, but Blacksword for being the most recent Stream Heroes, the first ever Stream Heroes. Love having you guys around. Good to see you in chat. I hope you're enjoying the games. But there's some coolness to this matchup. Like, GuMiho is just a good player, whether it's the Alima League, the BTSL, you name it. He's probably going to be in at least the semifinals, if not the grand finals of most of these events. Patience, however, has not been the case. He's been a little bit more of a wild card. Well, for a long time, he was on this real big upswing. His momentum did kind of die off. So I was talking to him about it on Skype, and again, he did replace someone else who had to drop out of the finals that couldn't take their invite. I think it was, Stats had said he wanted to focus on something else initially, but then ended up showing up, so I don't know, question mark. But point is, Patience got here because he did get some points. He did play in the weeklies. But he didn't have good placement. I think he only had like 2 points or something. Like, he barely made it in type thing. So he told me on Skype he's going to make up for the lack of points by winning it all today. Well, maybe he won't win it all. Maybe he will. I just love that he did make it to the finals. Because nobody had an easy bracket. Like, that's the beauty that is the BTSL. These games are top notch. And Patience had to take out both Deer and Stats to get here. Now, granted, those were both PvPs, and this is his first TVP of the day. But those are fantastically good players. Stats probably like best Protoss player in the world right now, and Patience took him out in the first round.
Yes, he did. So Patience is looking better than we've seen him in the past. As not just like he's not really supposed to be here, but it's also just we haven't seen him in a finals in a long time. Feels bad, but GuMiho, I thought I saw something. That factory, not in the main base, which I think Patience also barely scouted. So they've been talking a lot. Obviously, they know each other and they're friends with each other. They talked a lot about that Twitter thing that you like asking to make a Twitter and whatever, because you had brought it up. And then they're now, I think, discussing or mocking to each other about the builds. So Patience does confirm and see the factory, by the way.
Yeah, SCV. Oh, that's quick. I love the question. Oh, this is so sick. Just use the Adept to block it. There's no reason that factory should land a build Widow Mines.
He could. Yeah, okay. He realized it a bit too late, which is unfortunate. Because, like, the thing is, like, yeah, the Adept will be on the Widow Mine lickety split, but there's always that chance, you know, that it does burrow and even hits the Adept, and he should just not have taken that chance at all.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, this still might work out. You kind of almost bait GuMiho into making the Widow Mines, saying, like, look, you'll waste money because I'll just kill them very easily, right? This pylon still hasn't been dealt with. It's kind of annoying. The Reapers were brought across the map, and the Marines are coming out so late, so there's a lot of things happening this game, but they're all very minor little things.
2 Adepts doesn't kill a Widow Mine.
No. Sits there with 2 HP hype. I mean, if it moves again, it will die for sure, but that's where GuMiho now has a bit of cover. Like, if the Adepts come into attack and he's not paying attention, he'll lose it.
That's bold.
Oh. Actually, the Cyclone's kind of a cool choice, though. It could fight the Adepts, and it could actually viably win the fight with the Adepts while the Widow Mine moves over.
Yeah. This is very interesting. A medevac's also on the way, but of course from back home. But if it, like, moves across the map, lickety split, it could support Cyclone and Widow Mine with Marines. Very odd way of doing a Widow Mine drop. Potent overcharge to the front is finally taken care of. Probe takes a shot, nicely done by Patience, and now the Cyclone's a little trapped. There's no escape. Can't even get that last Adept. Come on. There.
Okay, gets one of the Adepts. That's nice. I mean, for GuMiho's proxy, this was really intended to do a lot more. So it does fall a little bit flat. And even if this wasn't doing direct damage, like, it's not getting to the mineral line, it's not killing probes, it's supposed to force more at home and not let this attack, for example, happen so easily. And I'm sure somebody will be upset that we didn't watch this with a camera so much, but this really wasn't intended to do much other than break the front door. With no follow-up, no Oracle, no Adepts coming through, that was at most going to kill, like, the reactor and the 2 supply depots.
Exactly. And GuMiho dealt with it pretty okay, by the way. You know, there's also the pylon block and the natural. That also didn't really, interfere too much. And GuMiho still finds himself at an even worker count, which is, of course, better for the Terran.
Well, Patience actually struggling to deal with such a small drop is a little bit odd to watch, but 5 probes die. Had to pull them all off of mining on top of this. 9 in total And GuMiho's looking to be in a pretty great spot this game, all things considered. He's up in workers, and he's got 2 bases.
In a very good spot, I would say. I mean, in a regular game, especially on Proxima, by this point, Patience usually would have a Stargate. But if not a Stargate, then whatever else, Twilight Council, Robo, and a 3rd base on the way, most importantly. But he's still stuck on 2 versus 2 at less workers now. His only benefit from this is that GuMiho did delay his upgrades. And his factory production is also it's waiting a little bit while. But to be honest, at this point in time, factories need to be building tech labs and reactors for other structures. So it's not really that big of a deal. All
right, Liberty sets up, but it's going to get taken out pretty quickly. I hope, by the way, Sheezel isn't lying to me about this, but he says that Patience actually cannon rushed in one of his games against Gear to win the series.
Yo, that wouldn't surprise me. Did you see someone watch the IEM replays and Patience cheesed out SOS for someone?
Well, so the only reason I'm hesitant is because I don't know if you know who Sheezel is, but he is a big cannon rush advocate, we will say. So maybe he's telling the truth, maybe he's not. Either way, that's actually really impressive if he was able to pull that off.
Yeah. It was Zest. It was Zest, that's right. Yeah, Zest got cannon rushed in IEM, but it was on stream.
Feels bad, man.
It sounds about right, though. Zest is in such a weird spot where he's still a handsome devil, and he's still good, but it's just
so
you're not the solid... You're not the solid Protoss, man. No, I say that because here's what happens, right? Zest looks at himself in the mirror and he's like, Zest, you haven't been doing so hot lately.
At least you are hot. You're not doing so hot, but at least you are hot. Hey, points the finger guns.
Yeah, exactly. No, so Zest is in a very weird spot. Anyway.
Patience's choice of the Dark Shrine's a really interesting one, in my opinion. There's the cost-efficient Archon argument and all that, but I wonder, because he... Maybe not the cheesiest player, but he is totally someone willing to use DTs in that sneakier way rather than necessarily I just went for Archons, macro.
Yeah, I think he is feeling a bit, of the pressure. I think he feels very behind, which he kind of should. This game has not gone well for Patience overall. His 3rd base being so late in usual Legacy of the Void TVP terms is pretty bad. He's gone for a lot of gateways. This isn't a case where he has 2 Colossus but a slower 3rd. It's gateway units barely with blink and not a 3rd. So he's got to find a way to come back.
Well, the pre-scan goes down. Stalkers are falling back. There's overcharges to fall back too, but those will get focused on pretty quickly. No Guardian Shield, I think, may have been a mistake out of Patience. Or just not the energy for it, I suppose. Either way, that Warp Prism sits here unable to warp anything in because he just used all those warp-ins back at home. That's where these extra gateways really come into effect. Now transforming them, looking to get some DTs on GuMiho's side of the map and start... Oh, this could work. Even though he's got detection, there's nothing at home right now, just production.
His barracks are about to pop out 6 more Marines. That should be enough, or...
Well, he's going to split them in 2 different locations, and Patience is actually going to open the door with one of this. One of these?
This could be a lot. That at least will distract GuMiho. Something like this could be big. Okay, on the medevacs.
Another big attack over here, but he's not ready for this one, unfortunately. So he does deflect the one to the main really nicely, but the 3rd base is still going to be problems. Meanwhile, ZTs are just kind of on hold position. This one's just chopping down the wall. This might supply block GuMiho at this rate, actually, which is kind of funny to consider.
His drops are being deflected here. Patience has done a really nice job. I mean, GuMiho still has 1-1 on the way, and he didn't take catastrophic damage back at home.
Does he not know where that Warp Prism is?
Not bad.
I don't think he's seen the Warp Prism. Oh, no, he's in range of it. He sees it.
That's okay. Well, the medevacs have cleaned up. This is actually a big loss because the medevacs were targeted down.
Yeah.
I don't know why that one came back. That was hopeful thinking.
Props to Patience. He still has ADT over here, by the way. So while there is detection up and sees it and the surround goes down, he's still killing a lot of SCVs. All things considered, not that many probes died. GuMiho's on 36 SCVs now.
Yeah, the extra 5 really helped, but just, it also delayed GuMiho's 3rd base. Because 11 SCVs, there could have been a lot of investment into that 3rd. It's not coming down even still. And he lost a lot of his aggressive opportunities by losing those medevacs.
This is really cool because we really haven't seen much use in DTs in terms of this wasn't a DT rush. This wasn't super cheesy. And most importantly, this wasn't blink DTs either, which we are seeing in the matchup. This was just regular DT usage well handled out of Patience.
It ended up being the right move to do for sure, and how he used them.
Yeah, I really like the hold position. The true to his name, the patience in the way he used them, I suppose.
Yeah. I think it's the hold position, patience, but also just making sure that GuMiho was attacking And then there was also a bit of like overconfidence by GuMiho to immediately send the 2 medevacs out too. Because those 2 medevacs probably not that big a deal.
He like move commanded a lot of those stalkers through. Liberator's in a great spot. Patience may have done well up to this point, but now he finds himself in a lot of trouble. He can't blink forward. His Widow Mines. He's losing sentries, bleeding out to these. Oh man, his own Sim City, his own pylon, the mineralized, everything here is working against him on the defense. He suicidally blinks in because he has to remove the Liberators, but the Immortals have no support in doing so. The army out of GuMiho is not that big.
Yeah, this was very close. I think it was like a 15 supply advantage for GuMiho that looked like it might be unstoppable with the Widow Mines and Liberators, but one Immortal soaked up all of the Widow Mines. DTs did a little bit of damage on the backside.
No, it's Adepts.
Or Depths, yeah, okay. Well, either way, there's a little bit of SCV losses for GuMiho. So he's still down by 10 workers, and his army is cleaned up.
He did lose the Warp Prism, though, which is a little bit unfortunate. But, you know, prior to this, I didn't realize Resonating Glaives wasn't up and good to go. So now maybe the Adepts can fight a little bit better. He does have vision. Oh, that was a sick snipe out of GuMiho to shut down that Observer. No detection for these Widow Mines.
Those 3 Widow Mines really should not be here for this follow-up attack, and that is a brutal addition.
This is where I would really love to see, like, I know they're going to do Blink and Juking Micro and all this, but I really would love to see Hallucinating Probes to soak up the Widow Mine hits. I think would be really cool. Because for those who don't know, the cost of Hallucination, you'll get 4 probes.
Decides not to commit to the attack, just realizes there's probably too many Blink Stalkers for it to be worth it.
This is... you know what I just realized, though? There's a big problem here for Patience on the back end. He's got no upgrades, no forges, no weapons whatsoever.
That's a good point. He just used a lot of his bank, and while GuMiho still is on 2 bases, something that Patience knows with an Observer on the 3rd base.
It just stims into the... That's it. The Immortals went down like nothing. Widow Mine actually doesn't get a great hit, though, so he does back away from this. But as more rally forward, GuMiho's army supply is looking fantastic, and those 1-1 upgrades are going to tear through Gateway units. If there was more like Robotac or Storm or hell even Archons, maybe this wouldn't be the case, but Stalkers and Adepts, that's not going to cut it. GG indeed. All right, well, GuMiho takes the first game of the series. It's going to be Patience's pick for game 2. Stick around, guys. We'll see you in a sec. All right, we're getting into game number 2 in this best of 5. Spawning in the bottom left side, playing for Psystorm Gaming. Quite the chatterbox. It is GuMiho, currently up 1-0.
In the bottom right is the red Protoss. He is Patience.
So Naz Velas is calling me out on the lighting in my room. Unfortunately, while I did have really awesome studio lights before, despite all the best efforts to get them here in one piece, they did end up getting broken. What's so frustrating about it, though, is we got them to the apartment, no problem. Perfectly intact. Not an issue. As my dad is leaving, his coat catches the corner of it, drags it off the table, smashes it on the ground. Feels bad as 4 of the 5 bulbs are broken. So I've actually just not taken the time to replace it. I gotta find out what types of bulbs they are, though. They're these weird, like, incandescent ones, I think, and they got like spirals or something. Like,
Well, your dad should never left. That's
no.
lesson.
No. 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 No.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sure you look beautiful, no matter what lighting you're in.
I don't know if we caught this or not. Towel Terran? Sorry, not Towel Terran. That's the message. No, Nuznard subbed for 13 months to say, Towel Terran, show us your moves. Show us your moves, brah. GG.
Well, he did.
He's there for that first game, for sure. And then Monty and throwing us some more bits. Thank you very much, dude. Certainly appreciated.
These guys talk a lot.
Well, that's what I loved about Patience, actually. If you remember, Patience, what are you doing? Patience and True, actually, were some of the most fun guys because they would actually banter in English. And it was so bad. Like, you remember he'd say, like, knock, knock, open the door and stuff like that? Like, Patience is, yeah, here's the president. He's been one of the chattier Protoss, and I've enjoyed him for it.
Yeah. I guess I've never seen GuMiho this talk this much. Is like, I guess, the surprise. Even with other people that he's friends with, like, they have been talking non-stop in between the lobbies and during the entire early game. Even if I was, like, good, like, if it was you know, someone I was good friends with, but you kept on talking in the early game, I'd just be like, you're cheesy, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, you are too paranoid for your own good. I don't think you're able to have fun due to your paranoia.
That might be true. Occasionally, I still meet like good people that I do strike up a bit of a conversation with, and that's fine. But yeah, if they're gonna start complaining or like, I'm just like, you're cheesing me. I don't believe you.
Well, the attack about to commence. It's gonna be the pylon attack, and it's followed up with the Stargate, which is a lot more notable than Adepts. But we'll see if this distracts enough at the front. I do love that Patience actually did go for 2 pylons, though. This is really important because as we see, one would not have cut it, not against a Cyclone like this.
So I'm gonna be careful. Yeah, it's a little bit of damage. If it gets a Cyclone, that would be a pretty big pick-off, and there is an Oracle on the way. But it's not gonna get the reactor.
Well, he'll have enough energy for a second one here in 3 seconds.
Okay, then maybe he will get it.
Problem is, though, the high ground vision is going to be hard to maintain. Cyclone locks on, Marines chase that mothership for him. She's fragile, and there's no energy for a recall. So he's got to be careful with how he uses it. He knows this, too. That's why he's playing really far back with it and super tentative. This, unfortunately, ends up being an absolute waste for Patience, though. It didn't even kill 2 depots.
Yep, 2 pylons, technically a probe, I guess, and all the motion core energy for 1 depot. GuMiho should not be distracted. I'm surprised.
There's actually more than enough. 2 Cyclones, this many Marines. This Oracle should get a couple of SCVs at most. In fact, just cast Revelation to fall back. This is not bad out of Patience because he does manage to tag the medevac with it, so he will see the attack coming and from what angle the medevac approaches.
He's lucky that GuMiho didn't actually go for a Whittle Mine, because if he had, he just used up his overcharge and his detection.
Well,
he's got the Oracle way.
Yeah, it just popped out. It wouldn't be that bad.
No, why would you, GuMiho? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just didn't notice he had Revelation cast on him, or maybe he just knew that it was chance he could sneak in.
Well, 2 Oracles, dangerous. Yeah, Cyclone doesn't last too long, even with the increased health. Oracle's pretty good unit. Still not able to get many SCVs beyond this. Despite, like, I think what would be 2 opportunities to get, like, 3 or 4. Just none. 1, okay, but not much from the Oracles.
And it looks like Patience is going to be playing, I suppose and assume, Phoenix Adept behind this. This has become a really annoying composition for Terran players to deal with lately. When you watch some people out there, like Root Hero, for example, right? Like, that guy is so good at controlling this. Like, it's almost disgusting watching him play.
Yeah. It is. Well, Patience, we haven't seen him in a while again, so maybe he is equally as good, but I doubt it. Hero's kind of on the tippy top of the Protoss here. 3rd base is going to come down, and GuMiho is still getting his production up and stim up and whatnot, and there's no way he's going to be able to drop any further, so it really is just macro time for both players.
Macro time is macro time. Or won't you have some macro of mine?
What was that based off?
It's the Pancake song from Scrubs.
Oh, I don't watch Scrubs.
Pancake time is pancake time. Oh, won't you have some pancakes of mine?
No, I don't know that one.
I love Scrubs, man. That was I guess for me, Scrubs was what Friends was to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that.
Plus, I've had like the biggest crush on Sarah Chalk ever since.
There's a couple of things that I never. This isn't. Obviously, Scrubs isn't like about like your childhood, but kind of like any type of song, I suppose. I was never very good at them. Like childhood rhymes, childhood songs, childhood games. I don't know why. I feel like you really missed out. You know, the cookie jar game or any of the nursery rhymes. I didn't remember. Like I feel like I missed out.
Here's my impression of you. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great line.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what it would be. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Lion.
Was it me?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm pretty bad. So, okay, Phoenixes can also help against the tank push that might just be coming in here.
Well, this is
really difficult to make this work.
Well, so Phoenix are so invaluable for this position specifically, but I love these Adepts on the backside. The Phoenixes can obviously lift up the tanks, just crowd control them. They can chase off the medevacs, they can kill the Marines. They actually have a lot of functionality, but these Adepts, if they just focus fire the SCVs, they would get a couple of kills before going down. It's a little bit awkward, though, because Patience just kind of looks like he was A-moving.
Yeah, and Patience doesn't really... He doesn't have his gateways done. This is all types of... This is actually working out so well. So, what happens with other games, you see this tank push, +1 Resident Glaze finishes just in time, and they've already been warping into depths. So they can actually buy a lot more time and eventually break it if like everything is done well. But yeah, instead, Patience is like a good 20 seconds still, you know, and now like 10 seconds still waiting for a +1 Resident Enclaves. He didn't ever stop this or stall this. His Phoenixes couldn't even try to be a danger to the medevacs. They were off to the right side. This has been a great push by GuMiho.
This supply blocked him. You know, there's like 4 pylons there. There's the Nexus itself. Like, this was a pretty devastating supply block.
Yeah. Pretty devastating push. I do think this is going to lead to an eventual win. GuMiho has his 3rd CC finishing on location, which shouldn't really happen against Phoenix, really.
Freebie medevacs and things like this are pretty nice pickoffs.
They are. I think Gumiho's getting a little too distracted by the Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great thing, though. They're cutting off reinforcements. They are keeping GuMiho from necessarily pushing into the natural right now. Looks like, I don't know what killed those pros. I guess a Widowmine or something went off. Well, we weren't looking. Either way.
Yeah, there's a drop in the main.
Oh, yeah, there's a Widowmine there. Either way, though, the tanks are set up beside the natural and drops in the main aside. Like, this push out of GuMiho is one to win. Phoenixes are not coming home, and I'm not sure why. There we go, finally on the way back.
They've been very
Widowmine went off again.
Phoenixes.
I didn't think it would rearm, so we looked away at the natural.
This is game. The tanks could be picked up for like a second, but GuMiho did a really nice split of his units here. Marines protecting the tanks. I guess now they're protecting the Marauders, funnily enough. But
this is...
either way.
Actually, you know, picking off the medevac was kind of nice. That does stop high ground vision, but that's where you can just start scanning. As the Adepts transfer through, there's really not that many Marines, though. And in all honesty, this might be where the Phoenix come in and take a decent fight, but they went off to the middle of nowhere while the fight began, so I don't know. Taking out the tanks will stop the push from getting too out of hand. He did pick up a lot of Marines, too.
Take him out? I mean, yeah,
maybe
he's
not.
only going to take out one.
Oh, that's awkward. He doesn't have the energy to pick up the Widowmine, so that's going to be limited use here. One Widowmine about to pop off on several Phoenix. Oh, God. Good God. You know, if this was something where Patience had a 3rd base mining, this sort of scrappy engagement wouldn't be that big of a deal. Honestly, you could recover from this. But he's only on the 2 bases mining. He's not even fully saturated either. That's the worst part through all of it, right?
Yeah. And he is down in upgrades, and his Phoenixes are no longer useful as they run out of energy.
If there's more of them, this wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I think it's a little too far gone.
That's going to be it. GG.
All right, GuMiho takes a 2-0 lead now in the series.
I think I'm not sure about this, but I feel like Patience said he thinks he might lose 1-3. Still thinks he's going to get a game.
Well, I hope he can. I mean, I don't think he had bad moves, but timings and many things were just scary for him that game, and terrifically horrible.
It really was. Like I said, they can actually compare a game exactly on Newkirk too, because it's such a common build on Newkirk, the tank push versus Phoenix Adept, and see that Patience was just too late to his upgrades. Whereas, again, like bringing up Hero, maybe he's bought more time, maybe he's done a little bit more damage, and maybe he actually has the defense.
Well, either way, Cactus Valley looks like it's going to be the next map. We'll get into this in a moment. We'll save the commercial break for after, see if it all ends. But I do want to remind people, while we are getting into what is possibly the grand final game, like this could be it, this 3-0, whatever, we do have another cast coming up in 30 minutes from you hearing this. That's going to involve Nurchio, True, Keen, and Neeb. They're going to play a double elimination bracket, all best of 3. We're not going to cast all the matches. We're going to just try and get it done with as quickly as possible because it will determine who takes Stats' place for the Ting Open. Now, I do want to point out we really could have just done pure nepotism. It's the sponsor of the tournament. Neeb could have easily just been invited to take that spot. But we felt like all the people in the round of 8 deserve an equal chance because they all did lose in the round of 8.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we got our last caster in here.
Yeah. Going ready. We don't have a map intro for this one, although I did finally get the footage fixed up with some of our free time recently, so I just got to actually sew it together now. But next season's ladder pool. Ha! I don't even know if I'm going to care enough about intros for some of those maps.
Gonna be interesting. I really just am bewildered as to that 4th map, the odd one out.
Oh,
where the hell did that come from?
You know, the thing is, like, okay, the winning map doesn't make it to the ladder pool. That's not so crazy to me. It's unfortunate, but that's not crazy. What is crazy is a map that wasn't even voted into the top like for voting, the map that wasn't even given to us to play test because that's how low ranked it was. That it like, how did that map be the one that gets picked?
I don't know. I really wonder sometimes what's going on.
Well, I certainly have a lot of things to talk about in that regard, but I can't say any of it publicly until we get the players paid. So we gotta keep a lid on it for now, I suppose. Game number 3, folks, here for the BTSL Finals. I do want to remind everybody this tournament is not just powered by Twitch, but purely and entirely made possible thanks to them. While Corsair are our channel sponsors and they help support everything we do kind of slowly in the background, and they do help with cool things like the Corsair Cup and the Ting Offline Finals, this tournament is sponsored solely by Twitch. However, the cool announcement was that next month, the next season, season 3 of the BTSL, will have an even bigger prize pool. $200 every week instead of $100. $500 season finals instead of $400. A lot of extra money going into this tournament. It should be a lot of fun. That being said, Spawny here in the bottom left on his last life. We'll see if he can bring it back for at least one game. Ladies and gentlemen, patience.
In the top left is the Red Terran. He is GuMiho. Fast command center.
Yeah, this might. I'm wondering if this will go down that Byun pathway where you do the 3 barracks. Although, in fairness, though, I suppose Byun's been actually taking the faster gas and just doing 2 barracks more often. But
he also hasn't done this build in a couple of weeks, so we've seen him play TVP for whatever reason. So it's been a while, but I do prefer the 3 racks version.
Well,
I think it gives you a lot of production.
I think it's not only that, but these bigger maps, it seems to just benefit more on, right? Like, you've got more area to fight with. You're going to be pushing at timings that are a little more unexpected because it's a big map. I just, on top of that, it's macro. It's macro oriented.
Yeah. In, like, my eyes, I think you already delayed the medevacs a little bit. So, like, letting them a little bit further just for, like, a much bigger push is just, I don't know. I prefer it, but again, either build is fine. Like, either one of those is worse or better. They're just different. This 3 racks definitely gives you enough Marines, though, early on to make sure you can push off basically anything. Like, if they try and do a pylon play into an Oracle, assuming that you might mess up somewhere, like, you know, get supply blocked or miss a Marine being built, if you don't mess up, then it can absolutely just punish it, and Patience would be a fool for trying. But if you go for the 2 rack, sometimes it's not enough if it follows up. But Patience is even bothering with it. There's no Stargate follow-up, and it's just a robo. The game continues. He's going to have to decide how to deal with GuMiho's eventual very, very strong push. Now, GuMiho didn't get a scout, you know, beyond the SED, which is the Nexus, so he doesn't know if it's a Stargate or not. So while it isn't, he doesn't know, and he's actually just going to go ahead and invest into an engineering bay.
Yo, there's someone in chat. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but Linara, I think, just won the Troll of the Evening award, and I actually salute you for that comment. Someone was saying, we think tanks should be changed. I think we all agree tanks are killing the game, to which they reply saying, yeah, we should reduce their damage and allow medevacs to pick them up while sieged.
Yeah. What a thought.
Crazier ideas have been come up with. For example, giving the Warp Prism 6-range pickup.
Yeah, well, so I'm like working on this like video series, which I hope is kind of cool, but for instance, right now I'm looking back to like old StarCraft 2 games, and did you guys know that you used to have to research Siege? What if that came back? What if that was back? Do you remember? Game?
I always bring this up, but do you remember why you don't have to research Siege anymore?
Bathrooms.
Bathrooms in the tanks, guys. They got rid of them to make room for Siege tech because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Anyways, here's that blitzy early attack. The pylon does overcharge, and without stim, you don't have the damage to take this down. But at least forcing at the overcharge alone is kind of nice. I mean, this isn't the cost of something like gas with like a medevac or even widow mines. It's just Marines. And with him having gone the CC as fast as he did, you can afford to lose a couple Marines.
And on the off chance, Patience is gonna go for Warp Prism Disruptor drop. That's cool. But on the off chance that Patience was going for a faster third, waiting on production of gateway units, that might have been able to do even like a little bit more damage. But as it is, it doesn't matter. He didn't lose enough units to make that like worth or not worth, and he just will still have this very strong medevac follow up. But he saw like only 2 bases, so I guess he's a little scared. Go ahead and get a bunker.
Does someone have that highlight clip of when Ryong got Disruptor dropped? You know, having like a clump of Marines, I think it was like on Daybreak, get absolutely annihilated. I really love the idea of Disruptor drops. I love As much as you might hear me complain about the Warp Prism, guys, and I still think there's a lot of problems with it, I do love the speed upgrade for it and watching the maneuverability this provides. This also then allows it to extend kind of its reach in a small weird way, because look at that speed boost. You can easily get in and get out with this. But Marines are waiting. Patience isn't going to get a freebie disruptor hit, not just yet. But if the Marines are waiting and they're still not paying attention...
No.
Oh, he just fell short. Jesus. Had he been like 5 yards closer, that could have been game-changingly devastating of a hit.
That was funny. I was so hyped. Yeah, that wasn't too great. And now GuMiho knows what's up, because again, he was kind of in the dark. All he knew was that there wasn't a third base, which means it's either faster Colossus or the chances of a Warp Prism, or both, really. So he was prepared for the Warp Prism, but I think the Disruptors are still going to be a surprise. Now he should never be caught too clumped up. He might still take like 5 SCVs worth of damage every now and then, but it shouldn't be any more than that. Because even if you don't pull them, they don't clump up. They actually don't take catastrophic amounts of damage.
What was that drop though? Alright, the Disruptor hits go out. They really missed the mark.
Oh no! Oh no!
Losing 1 Disruptor already. This is devastating. Warp Prism took a lot of damage too. I mean, on one hand, great defense out of GuMiho, but secondly, like, Patience. Like, he flew past Marines with the assumption he was going to hit them. He missed them.
So, a long time ago, when Disruptor drops were first really becoming a thing, they were kind of like... You had to have 2 to protect each other, or to make sure you got damage, as opposed to just, like, dodging once and then you're done. And that was, like, the way to do it. But with Hero bringing them back a little bit, he's only ever used 1 at a time. And I'm seeing as, the reason as to why. I think just it's like... The focus required is too much, and the potential of losing that Disruptor is too much too, and which would be much better back on the front lines defending than, of course, trying to get the double whammy, which he was unable to get, and now is out that money.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to say that is necessarily the problem, though, that it's too much to handle, because then you'll see people like Neeb do it, and it looks fucking amazing when he does it, right? Although
he's just the only, I think.
Oh, indecisiveness for that shot was a little bit awkward.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, I think even when Neeb still does, because Neeb does occasionally throw it out, I think he still does the 1, doesn't he? Not 2.
You know, it's been a while since we've seen it. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I just know that Hero does only 1. But anyways, yeah, you're right. Like, it still can work out, the 2 Disruptors.
Oh no, Warp Prism run.
Yeah, the amount of harassment seems to be roughly the same.
Oh god.
Unless you lose it.
He's like panicked with his Warp Prism, like, where do I go? No, we're safe.
Yeah, that's such a big army engagement. Oh, he goes in the middle of the map, so it's concaved on.
Oh, the Guardian Shield comes out so late, though. This could have reduced a lot more damage. As he falls back, he's just going to get shot down. Concussive shells, I think, are out. See anything gets hit. Yeah, he's just going to be able to kill like that Immortal. Disruptor comes in, does get an okay hit.
Still, that Immortal is just a couple shots from death. He picks it up in the Warp Prism, but the sentries are gone now, and the tanks ended up living. SCV's repairing even. This is going to be tough to defend against. GuMiho is only on 2 bases, but he has a very strong push.
Yeah, 4 SCVs, 5 SCVs like this repairing is so unconventional, but absolutely worth it. Because not only you're repairing the tanks, you're repairing the medevacs. And normally those are brought down to the yellow. The Stalkers blink forward and sacrifice themselves for them. Like, nice pickup of that Warp Prism. Patience is looking so sick.
And I don't mind the Time Warp here, stopping him from ducking in and out.
It'd be really cool if Time Warp increased your own unit's speed.
The Immortals look like they're going to be enough. Like, they took out the Immortals or the Marauders pretty quickly. Now they're going to take out the tanks.
Tanks are getting a lot of free shots, though, on the Stalkers still. Like, this actually took a long time to finish off those tanks.
But he held.
Yeah, and with 3 bases, that puts him in a really fantastic spot. GuMiho was so committed to that. And, I mean, there's no third CC as far as I can tell.
No, there's not. No, that was really committed. And while it was a strong push, it just wasn't quite strong enough. Patience had already gotten the advantage of that faster third Nexus. And now he's even going to up his production. He had his upgrades finished up too to be even. Now he can even pressure, maybe?
Maybe. People are asking what server this is on based on Patience's handling of his units. That's pretty rude. But secondly, we are playing on Korea as it is Korea versus Korea. There's no reason to make these guys play anywhere else.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine there's a person out there. There probably is, though, that's like, wow, I can't believe these North American broadcasters are making them play in North America just because it's their, like, server. No, guys, no. What's the Control-Alt-F? Korea.
Yeah, and there's no other options like there are in the U.S. East Korea, North Korea. Oh, North Korea.
I was gonna say North Korea is not even an option. Period.
So GuMiho has one more push in him, and if that doesn't work, then it's probably gonna be game. Even if he lists his main command center.
It's already arguably like a desperate push to make, but the 3 Liberators totally make this viable. All things considered, Patience has been warping in more and more Adepts and Disruptors and things that shoot ground. So dealing with the Liberators is going to be tough, but Doom Drop style coming in. Patience is out of position for it. Uh-oh. Disruptor sees it, though. He's got to fall back. Come on. There we go.
I don't understand GuMiho's position to pick up his units, because he knew the observers were killed, and that's fine, but he's still like, okay, I guess he's going to go to the 3rd base this entire time. I thought he was going to try and go to the main.
Well,
this is very awkward.
Focus down this. The Liberator's gone. This is too much. I think Patience is going to get that 1 point on the board that he had predicted so rightfully for himself.
Well, then he said he was going to 3-2. Drop's still going to be run amok in the main base, and that's annoying, but it's not going to make up for an entire 3rd and just a larger army from Patience. There's no way to deal with these Adepts. I mean, he'd have to get Ghost at this point, because he doesn't have a reactor on his factory, so Widow Mines wouldn't be the real way to go.
Oh, Disruptor forces all those units right back into the medevac. Well, it doesn't do kills, it buys some time to get that army now in position. So the Disruptor goes down. I think it's still kind of worth. This sucks, though, because GuMiho's just going to be able to keep picking up and flying away, picking up and flying away. Transfers his main base over towards the 3rd, so he's going to continue to try mining, but let's be honest, we all know that's not the same as just having a 3rd.
Yeah, I guess he maybe was thinking about getting a 3rd base if the tank push had worked, because the SCV's like in a very awkward situation right here, but yeah, no, just having to lift that main command center. Patience also awkwardly thinking about getting a 4th base, so they could tell the pylon was over there. And he should be able to get it now. I mean, he's still banking 1,500 minerals. But this is... Patience, I mean, he could get a little overconfident, I suppose, and continue only warping in gateway units, in which case GuMiho might be able to come back, but... He's on his way to a 2nd forge. He's got a robotics bay on the way. And to be honest, if he does just mass Adepts without Widow Mines, I think that would still be fine. Widow Mine and Liberators are the way back into this game, not tanks.
Wait, doesn't he already have a robo bay? That didn't get sniped, did it?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, he canceled it. He realized the mistake. I was like, why would you do it? He probably meant to make the other robo, which is admittedly... same name, confusing, of course, but the Dark Shrine's an interesting mix-up here. I think that with continued production of siege tanks, should that have been the case, it's not, but it can be. Having that DT blink can sometimes be super valuable. Even then, just going back to Archons could be worth it in this position. I think Patience is fully aware that GuMiho is not in the best position economically speaking, and in fact, GuMiho, I didn't realize how badly supply blocked he was. Capped, you could even argue. He's starting to drop supply depots too to make up for it.
Well, 2-2 is on the way, and that is something that Patience was holding off on. If they've already done, it's actually, I don't think it's really much of a contest, but that is a very large bioforce against mostly still gateway units. The Disruptor gets its 1 shot off, that's it, and this is a very good clumped up position. The Stalkers will take a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, there's no reason he should be taking that tank fire like that. That's devastating. I mean, the Guardian Shield helps a little bit, sure, but transferring through is risky. He's got a lot of Adepts. Is this something he wants to commit to?
Yeah, it is.
No, I love that he actually uses the Stalkers on the tanks and the Immortals on the Marauders. That ends up working out really well for Patience. And of course, the Adept's just going to blitz in that front line either way. And GuMiho sent packing once again. Stalkers looking to get those medevacs. Gets one on the retreat.
Yeah, I mean, the tanks were, I think, I give it a little more credit because of the positioning, but I still don't think that tanks were ever going to be the scariest thing for Patience. He just had so many units, Adepts shading in or Blink Stalkers blinking on top, either way. It's when Widow Mines pop off because they feel the need to shade in and blink on. That's when you see Terran like OP.
I like these DTs.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like the DTs being warped in right now.
Oh, the overcharges are just brutal. They take out one of those medevacs.
Oh god.
GG.
Yo, Patience puts a point on the board, and he's not going to go down 3-0. That being said, we are going to go quickly to a commercial break, get it out of the way, and see you guys for Game 4 when we return. All right, as we said, it's game number 4 here in the BTSL Grand Finals. Losing that last game, in the top left side, it is going to be the blue Terran Storm's GuMiho.
In the bottom right is the red Protoss. He is Patience.
Maybe Patience being his virtue, getting him into that 1 point on the board. See if we can do it again. Thank you very much to IPX74 for the Twitch Prime sub. Today has been a surprisingly slow day with subs, resubs, etc. Feels bad, man. So we really do appreciate that people do sub to the channel. And thank you very much for using Prime on top of that. It was brought up earlier, and because this tournament is sponsored by Twitch, I think it's totally appropriate I talk about Prime a little bit. Because if you guys don't know, the whole Prime spiel, maybe you're watching this on YouTube later, maybe you're not in the know and you're just watching casually on Twitch. But if you have Amazon Prime, you can help out your favorite broadcasters a lot more. Us, hopefully, in this instance. But honestly, just make sure you use this for anybody. Because you can connect your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime. You'll then activate, quote-unquote, Twitch Prime. I don't use my quotes. You would activate Twitch Prime for actual. And in doing so, you unlock a lot of cool features. The two big ones, though, that help your favorite broadcasters out are, one, a free sub once a month. You can subscribe to BaseTradeTV or whoever you like. It will cost you nothing, but we will still get the same money as if you had subbed with your hard-earned cash. On top of this, you do not get commercials. You do not get ads even when broadcasters play ads. However, you still generate an impression as if you did. So you are really helping people out by using Twitch Prime. If you're not already, go to twitchprime.com, connect your Amazon Prime account up, and make sure to do that, guys, because you get a lot of cool goodies. I think last week they gave away Banner Saga, or last month they gave away Banner Saga for free. Like, there's a lot of really cool, awesome perks for Twitch Prime.
Actually, I'm really disappointed because I downloaded it on my other computer, but I don't know if it like transfers over on the account or not. I actually have no idea how it works because I haven't tried doing it again on this computer. So it'll be an experiment. Anyway, we do have a proxy Stargates from Patience, which GuMiho should realize. It's a little suspicious.
Yeah, that Reaper gets a lot of scout. I mean, you see a Nexus and you're kind of like, okay, well, that's where he spent some money, but there still should be either a Twilight Council or, hell, a Forge or anything else on the way. So the fact that that isn't the case is suspicious, and he's looking all over for it right now. Patience has actually put this in a very not so typical, hard to predict location. Normally, you'd expect it to be up here or down here, and that's what GuMiho's looking for. The key thing about the timing for this, though, is if he had found this soon enough, 2 Marines and a Reaper could have easily killed that pylon. Hell, the Reaper alone could have killed the pylon, ideally before an Oracle even comes out. The delay on this hurts, and this means GuMiho will not be able to shut this down so easily, and he will have to deal with this Oracle.
Yeah.
Thank you to Sean and Tristan, I guess, or Sean X Tristan for that Twitch Prime sub.
Are you in love?
And Whoosh J for the 3 months as well.
All right, so a Viking is out on the way to help deal with this Oracle, and the Marines are, enough of them to defend the natural, too.
Not initially.
Wasn't there?
The difference of 5 Marines versus 6 is kind of big.
Oh, I thought there was. Well, either way, there was some missed micro, so.
Yeah. Straggler didn't come until a little bit late. Reaper is still just chilling at the 3rd. Looks like the Adept should be able to push that off. But following up with the second Oracle, I really like that Patience did pull off that first one. He really could have gone ham, but 2 of them is going to make sure that this gets out of hand following it up.
Honest ham.
Thank you to Ray Bones for that Twitch Prime sub. We do appreciate you. Appreciate the gesture. This, though, with the Viking is going to be interesting once the Phoenix comes into play. But losing one of the Oracles right away, that's kind of devastating.
Yeah, it is.
Did he still not find that Stargate? Okay, he finally saw it with the Reaper. I wasn't sure if that like barely, like, look how close that was to not seeing that.
Complete.
Yeah, that was pretty close. Oh, thank you to Kalari Shatal.
Yeah, this is that name we always read as Kalaris. I always read that first as Kalaris every single time.
I had fixed it for a while, but then, oh well. Yeah. Some of us just forget to hit the share button when we resub. Okay, fair enough. And Draco3 for the Twitch Prime sub.
Whoop, whoop. Alright, so while this Reaper causes quite a bit of an annoyance back at home, Patience is ready to go with a pretty impressive looking attack. And granted, again, the Oracle gets focused down. It's not that impressive. The Adepts are going to just absolutely be able to bully everything on the ground. In fact, the Marines were just picked up and pulled to the high ground. That may have been a good choice out of GuMiho because he really couldn't have taken on this Adept force. Phoenix is picking up what little Marines they can. Are not doing anything with the second Phoenix, though, so awkward.
Very awkward instead of dropping that.
He transfers into SCVs, so he transfers like into a full surround. This actually ends up hurting him quite a bit, but he will still trade out pretty decently. And Patience now going to be up like 11 workers. He's killed 10 SCVs through this.
Not bad. I mean, 13 workers is pretty good damage, really. That's not quite the 2 mules making up for it. But GuMiho will have a chance to counter with Stamina +1 finishing. It's just always going to be so difficult knowing that there's Phoenixes out on the map, because that means that you're not really going to get... if it fails, it fails, and you're just out of the army now. But Patience with the 3rd base already done, producing 3 probes at a time. GuMiho has to do something.
My concern is, like, normally lots of Phoenix are a great follow-up. This is being produced from a Stargate that's not reliable due to where it is on the map. Combined with the fact that the Phoenixes from earlier are kind of low, this is actually kind of scary for Patience. If he was at home and he catches this medevac, or he's at home and at least scoops up the Widow Mines as they unload, not a problem. But he's not actually getting to the SCV line. He's not really having a justified reason to keep these Phoenix on this side of the map. Well, if he picks up a medevac, that suddenly might be worth it. Not quite going to be the case. Widow Mines do start unloading. Probes get pulled. He's going to control this best he can. Certainly a pain in the ass to have to deal with this, though. Oh, this one. This one. Oh, this one.
Oh, no, Patience. Wow, Patience not looking. That's surprising. 6 probes in total. Starting to kill a Stargate, too.
I like that he actually starts cannons up, but it's unfortunate because he did already take the damage. And the 150 each in that cannon's even more damage you're essentially taking by investing that. Dove and Wolf throws us 500 bits. Thank you for the cheer. We do appreciate you, man. Inuyushi. This was like Inuyasha's cousin.
Yes.
Thank you for the Twitch Prime, as well as Gremlinski. Looks like the shout out for Twitch Prime is worth it. Excuse me.
Working it.
It's chat's working it, that's for sure. Now the medevac almost goes down, but doesn't quite. There's not enough adepts to take this on. The overcharge, however, will be enough to push this back. I don't know. Patience is not in a great army position, though. Like, he just doesn't have that much army. The type of supply he has isn't that amazing. Widow Mine is target fired on the adept. I like that. If that got off on the Phoenix, that would have been a lot of friendly fire.
GuMiho may have just won with his push.
I think so.
The armor supply just seems to be a little bit too much. Now, Patience, like, 3 bases, almost fully saturated, +1 resident glaives. It's like a little similar to that Newkirk game. If he just could get these warp-ins in, he could maybe hold on to this. But his warp-ins are just a little bit too few. And, you know, he still can't really deal with the Widow Mines either, so...
If it wasn't for these Widow Mines, I think the Stalkers may have been able to entirely push this off and push this back.
I guess I'm only slightly surprised that GuMiho decides to disengage. He must have realized how many more warp-ins were about to come his way. Well,
I think sort of reconciling his forces together is the better choice anyway. It's like he has more supply, but it's always fighting in chunks of like 12 and 10 and not 45. He is going to take this drop to the main now. This is where those Widow Mines are going to come into play once again. Cannon might be down, but all one Widow Mine has to do is get an amazing shot to make this worthwhile.
The cover a little bit. I mean, if the Phoenixes came in, that would be the most ideal, I believe, because then he could maybe even snipe a few. But it's the Stalkers that are responding, so he's going to have to get out of there with what he can. Liberator comes in the natural, which is dangerous. You know there's Blink Stalkers, you know there's a cannon. Still going to get a couple of probes, though, just Marines.
Yeah, but still loses the Liberator. GuMiho had such a strong force going for him. I'm starting to lose some of that momentum here. But he does have a really big army banked up back at home. Downside is, though, losing those medevacs. He actually only has 1 in play right now. Actually, none. Excuse me. It's just the one that's being produced.
Well, that is pretty low.
Yeah. We got another Twitch Prime stuff coming in. So, Bacon here says talking about Twitch Primes like dropping mules. Hell yeah, man. Nyan Kicks.
Nyan Cat.
Yeah, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Of course, while you guys are subbed to the channel, for those who don't know, for example, like today, the BTSL replay pack will be sent out to our subscribers after the broadcast is done. So you guys can always look forward to some goodies on top of all the other benefits to subscribing. Not sure what that gateway was about.
Awkward.
Alright, the attack comes in on this side. This is where a lot of important tech is. Wow. The Blink is probably going to not matter whether it gets shut down or finishes. There's just so much here. The Widow Mine gets a great hit. Whoa, he does deny Blink, by the way. Oh my god, that was like milliseconds for finishing.
And that Widow Mine got a pretty good hit, too. They are cleaned up, and the lack of medevacs was actually really concerning. Our Patience just couldn't take on the army.
I'm feeling for him right now. I mean, losing that Blink is one thing, but the Blink was also just like gonna mean you could finally rely on the gateway units. Now he still has to be very careful with how he handles them.
Yeah, I mean, even then it was gonna be suspicious because he is down in upgrades. But right, like definitely without Blink, his regular Stalkers are kind of useless at 11 minutes. They are so effective too against non-medevac bio because one stim and the trade out of blink versus just the damage racking up, it really helps. But again, without blink, it's not quite the same effect. And the medevacs, as few as they are going back into that main base. They fully unload, and there's just nothing patients can really do about it. He's gonna come in through a ramp. Like, I'm surprised. GuMiho might not have realized he didn't get blink, so I guess being pretty safe by doing that. I think I actually could have taken on that army. Oh well.
Well, just a side note, guys, we did tell the players for the Ting Open bracket that they could start without us if this finals was going on too long, so we might miss the first game or two for some of those matches, but it being double elimination, there'll be quite a few more to catch after.
Yeah. Did you mean that both series could start?
Yeah. Looks like on this side, the Widowmine managed to friendly fire a lot of SCVs, and that kind of sucked, but ultimately not that big of a deal. Or maybe Nutriment who, like, starts vetoes? Coin flip? Whatever. Sorry, we're trying to coordinate the finals and coordinate the other tournaments starting while we're in this game. But Colossus being an interesting choice out of Patience, I don't imagine they're going to be that amazing. But the one thing that seems like a good idea is because the medevac count had been so low, he hasn't really been able to jump towards things like Liberator or much less the necessity for Vikings. So maybe these Colossus will stand for a couple of engagements, but I gotta imagine GuMiho adjusts to them as soon as he sees them. If he doesn't win before that even.
I'm kind of feeling the win. Can't break up in the natural, it's the good news, but the fourth base should be something you can pick off. Sentries do buy more time by abusing this ramp as well, and Patience is all about just buying time. That's what they can do.
It's a lot more difficult for Patience to jump from base to base than it is for GuMiho, and that has nothing to do with medevacs, but just this pathway set up. Like, Patience is actually on the outside on the curve.
Uh-oh. Patience did actually give up that ramp to the north. Didn't give up the ramp to the south, but the Colossus still goes down.
Oh, jeez.
The ramp isn't covered by force fields.
This was a really disgusting blitz that should have been shut down. The second Colossus doesn't even finish. The gateway was, or the robo was depowered. He collects himself over here on the right side. Patience has an army to fight with for sure, but these are stalkers that have only recently just gotten blink. He doesn't have that much AoE. I guess we do have a small counterattack with a couple of adepts on the other side, but honestly, GuMiho, he's not exactly running away with this game in terms of supply, but once the 2-2 upgrades come into play, I really feel that's where he's going to start running away with the game.
Yeah. Patience did manage to save his fourth, which I thought was going to be a goner, but GuMiho went for the natural instead. And again, if he buys more time, he can have 2 Colossus on the way, and they will have extend their balance this time too. So there is still a potential for Patience to come back if GuMiho continues to rely purely on bio.
Thank you, Mexley, 42 for the 3-month resub. Sorry we missed that earlier. Fights were going down. It's a lot of adepts warping in. It's a lot of cool potential for Patience here, but I feel like GuMiho's going to have to really mess this up to make this work. Although the medevacs fly right over the army, and most of them are out of energy.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a freebie.
A bit. There are a couple more force fields, so GuMiho still has to be careful about moving in there. He's going to try a different path. Not Colossus. Disruptors, in fact, which...
I think this is a smarter choice.
I don't know. I'm actually kind of questioning.
Well, with how easily the Colossus was picked off, like, I can totally see why Patience wouldn't want to invest in them more. Oh no, Stalker just blink.
That was without extended balance. There was also because he was distracted. In these like straight up engagements one-on-one with these chokes, I think that the Colossus would be more dependable.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Well, double adept attacks are certainly going to get some SCV kills, so some payback to GuMiho on the back end of this, and his SCV count is not exactly rocking right now. Pushed off with 2 bases mining. Gonna be a big hiccup in that income, but there's that 2-2 finish up that we were talking about before, and this is where that bio, specifically the Marauders, are really just going to start running away with the game, I feel.
I think 2 more disruptors are already on the way out, so like if he gets up to 6 disruptors, that should be enough. That's no longer the case of like 2 good splits and suddenly GuMiho wins, right? But rather, he'd actually just have to entirely disengage and wait for Liberators, I think, if he gets up to 6 disruptors. But runs away from that one. Medevac's being rallied and accidentally. Got to be careful. He's gonna get cornered here. Almost. Oh, he's got high ground advantage. I have the high ground now. Which is very effective against disruptors, so it's actually no joke. Oh, Patience has to leave. This is 5th disruptor on the way. He's got +2 finishing up. Patience still in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the funny thing about upgrades. We've talked about this before, and this is usually a PvP dynamic, but the disruptors don't really need them. Like, they have all their damage ready to go from the get-go. It's really stalkers and adepts that benefit most from it, but Marauders starting to get picked off. Disruptor shots aren't really amazing or anything, but Patience is finally putting some pressure on the other side of the map.
It's really hard to use disruptors if there's a lot of high ground, low ground situations, because it adds so much time for them to chase, and then by then the shot doesn't hit anything.
Right, and that's where the Colossus would maybe shine through.
Yeah, a little.
But a lot of SCVs just kind of idle on the mineral patches that haven't been mined out. Drop going down on the right side. I don't know if this will go full-fledged like base trade status, but this is going to be a pretty important trade-out because GuMiho is going to lose control of a base that he has mined out. That does not matter. Patience, though, loses a base that he was relying on for income. Another base, too.
He does lose the Disruptor, and it's going to be difficult, I think, to get his Disruptors to shoot good shots in such a scenario. Like, so much chaos going on everywhere. But if GuMiho is distracted and he runs into a Disruptor, that could end the game.
Oh,
he loses... He only has one orbital left.
You know, didn't Patience... No, I didn't go for Dark Shrine this game. Damn, I was going to say, there's not that many scans. DTs would probably win this game.
Yeah, if he had gone for a Dark Shrine, that would have helped here. It also probably would have meant that a lot more SCVs went down a lot earlier.
Oh,
but
never. Rocks? Oh, that blink was awkward.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this entire game is getting very awkward overall, but he's going to end up taking it.
It is base trade.
Well, that one cannon got 3 medevacs. That's pretty dope cannon.
You know what?
There.
Actually, that's huge because look, this army can't really stim. These Marauders are in the red. If they stim, they're going to be on 22 health. You get one shot by the Stalkers.
Where Blink Stalkers are very, very helpful. First, they stop you from picking up the medevacs, and then second, they're going to force you to stim.
I think that's the last CC.
Yes, it is. He has 2 SCVs, which I thought what you were saying. But anyways, that was the last CC. 2 SCVs left over. Not enough minerals to make a command center, but certainly a lot of gas geysers.
I mean, where's Patience's last probe? He can actually build a new Nexus. He's got some potential.
Definitely go to the bottom left. Man, he was...
I don't know what you do in this position as Patience.
I think you expanded the bottom left. Okay, close enough, whatever. That one, the other one.
Well, he's still going to be so badly, like, supply blocked through this. He can't build new units. He can't build new probes. Like, one probe mining. Is like, but it's the difference of the fact that he can and GuMiho can't. So it is so alarming. GuMiho also could be producing units right now. He's still got 300 minerals in the bank.
Yeah, I think he should produce, a few more Marauders or 2 more medevacs, I think, would be better.
Well, what's the unit count right now? Okay, 4 Disruptors could honestly be phenomenal here. I'm actually on the edge of my seat. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Because for Patience here, I think what I would love to see more than anything else is a couple of hallucinations that could really help fluff this army when you have a player who can't scan and can't detect those hallucinations.
Good point. That might be worth it. He is going to make sure to clean up the rest of the production and tech in the main, which I do think is important because this game could go on for a while longer, and you don't want them warping in DTs.
Oh, that first disruptor gets focused down.
Oh, these 2 disruptors didn't get anything.
Come on, Patience. You got a couple more magical shots left in you, maybe. Force fields and guarding shields. Oh, bottom second's a huge hit.
But the disruptors are dying now. One Immortal is going to help out a lot. Everything gets awkward.
Oh God! I think Patience
spread around.
I think he did it. I think the Blink Stalkers came. Whoa! There's Woodamons. You're right. Oh no!
And there's more Marauders. Don't forget in the main base that I think clumped up that would take on Patience's army. Patience has to be careful also about getting his Nexus sniped as the rest of his buildings are being cleaned up. Okay, he's a pylon as well.
Gonna mine minerals. Can build a second pylon now.
Yeah, exactly. This is, seriously, if there's a 7X core and he builds a Mothership core, instantly helps. If the Twilight Council had lived, he builds a Dark Shrine, instantly helps. But now, he really has to start from 0.
Well, again, the emphasis on this game, though, is on GuMiho. Patience is able to recover to some weird degree.
One Disruptor, you just wait for it to shoot, which it just did.
It's on cooldown, so that's why it moves in.
It's good. I think it's good. And even though the medevacs had died, some of them in the midst of the base trade, there's still so many.
So he's looking to take on the army best he can. The Observer helps him save off that Widowmine. He pushes this back, but there's still Marauders in the backside focusing the Nexus. And let's not forget Patience. If he loses all the buildings, he'll lose the game. Forget the army for a moment. He has to respond to the backside.
Oh, that Disruptor's gonna get such a good hit. No!
Just kill Gateway. Kill the Gateway. He wins. I think GuMiho wins.
He does.
Oh my God. So down to the wire. That could not have been more down to the wire.
Had he not killed that probe, there would have been an emergency pylon thrown down. Or 2 assimilators would have been huge. Or almost 2 assimilators.
My God. Mother of God. GuMiho. That's all I can really do. Clap and just be excited and happy, as he is going to be the BTSL Season 2 champion. It's going to award him $200 for first place, and more importantly, a direct seed into the Season 3 finals, should he accept it. Which is going to be great, because, of course, Season 3 is going to be worth more money than Season 1 or 2 were. And, yeah, congratulations. Of course, Patience is still going to get some money, too. It's unfortunate, though, because that was truly a great game. That was such a sick ending. I am, like, really happy about that game. We had Perfect World throw 200 bits our way. Sorry for wasting that game. Says Cheer 100. Don't forget about that sweet HP you give out at the end of 12 months. Cheer 100. Yeah, Partoofs for the 1-year subs. Whether you're Twitch Prime or just regular Twitch subscriber, we don't really care. If you've been subbed to us for 12 months, you'll get a Partoof at the end of 12 months. Adonis1 subbed for 2 months to say thanks again for the high quality streams. Got me through medical residency. Hey, nice. My doctor could be watching StarCraft.
Congrats.
All right, well, we are now going to have to swap over to the other ones. But we are probably going to miss out on game 1 of both of these series. So what we're going to do, and again, to explain to you guys what's happening here, we have the Ting replacement bracket playing. We actually named the bracket Rip Stats, apparently. God damn it, Darius. I love the name. Nerdchio versus Neeb, True versus Keen. We're going to have to swap servers and find these guys and try and catch them. But as said, they've probably started without us. So we're just going to go to a bit of an extended break. I'm going to use the bathroom. We'll just interchange, because it's probably going to be about 10 or 15 minutes before we get into one of these games. But we'll be joining for like game 2 type situation. Again, it's double elimination. They're all best of 3s. It's a very small bracket. And the winner of this will replace stats for the Ting Open of Season 3. So thank you guys for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed the BTSL. But like we said, we got what is probably 3 to 4 best of 3s to cast still, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a little bit with the Ting replacement brackets.